Hey guys, welcome to Politically Provoked, an interactive podcast where we host debates, panels, and interviews. If this is your first time joining us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell to keep up to date with all our future debates and panels. So I am your host, Brittany, after a little hiatus. Here's my co-host, Todd. How are you?
Doing great, Britt. How are you tonight?
Doing all right. All right, so we are going to be debating abortion tonight. I'm excited for this one. So we have our abortion debater who was also our stand-in guest host while I was out. So let's welcome Zen Shapiro. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good. So yeah, you want to introduce yourself and tell people where you lie in the political spectrum and where people can find you.
Yeah, I'm Zen Shapiro. I am a far-right paleo-conservative, sprinkled with some fascism for the authoritative structure and nationalist aspects. You can find me on Twitter. Just search up Zen Shapiro. Also on Discord, Zen Shapiro 1605. I am based, pro-life, red-pilled, and Chad-pilled. And just want to point something out. Everybody may notice Brittany's attire tonight. She is rocking Turtleneck Tuesday. We'd love to see it. We're bringing back the patriarchy and making women traditional again, one at a time. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming. All right, so next up, let's bring on Richard. How are you?
I'm doing quite well, Brittany. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so you want to introduce yourself, tell people where you lie in the political spectrum and where people can find you.
Sure. I'm a humble Biden voting mainstream liberal. I think that's maybe the best way. No, I don't know. A lot of people hate me. A lot of people misunderstand me, but here I am.
Thanks for coming. All right, so here is what we're going to do. Each person can give an opening statement, can be as little as 1 minute, no longer than 5, about the topic and your stance. After that, we will open up the floor. For those watching, if you have questions, tag Politically Provoked. Who your questions addressed to, we'll jot them down throughout. We'll do the Q&A after, and then closing statements will be after the Q&A. So why don't we get started with opening statements? Richard, you want to go first?
Sure. I'm in the odd position of defending the status quo. That is, I don't want to radically change abortion legislation in any way at this moment. Now, are there much better ways of going about family planning than abortion? Things that are less nasty, that don't involve the destruction of a life form? Of course there are. But that only indicates that abortion is a kind of unfortunate, perhaps compromise measure that is reasonable to take in this day and age. It is the best way that is possible right now to engage in family planning, and I think to actually engage in policies that are effectively eugenic, you could say, that make sure that the best and the brightest, the most intelligent, and the most beautiful are the ones who are populating the earth. In 1921, Margaret Sanger actually wrote, "The most urgent problem today is how to limit and discourage the overfertility of the mentally and physically defective." Those words are truer now than when she spoke them some 120 years ago. Now, I want to talk a little bit. I'm going to talk about the effects of abortion, but I'm going to talk a little bit about just the issue itself. I think the abortion issue is maybe one of the most controversial hot buttons we can imagine. It seems to have a presence in almost every political campaign, whether it's presidential or even statewide or maybe even local in some cases. But I think it's ultimately a meaningless issue in the sense that it never rises above virtue signaling or effectively acting as a kind of proxy for other issues that people really want to talk about. 70% of the population effectively supports the current situation that we are in. Even if you, thus, even though it's a controversial, say, presidential election issue, it's not something that has changed. And that 70% number actually hasn't changed in half a century, even though we have transformed wildly in other areas. I don't think it's serious for the fact that, and I won't speak for Zen Shapiro, whose views I don't know, but for the fact that most all pro-life advocates don't take their own issue very seriously. We can see this in the recent Texas legislation that passed around a month ago, in which one is able to sue the abortion provider, even sue the Uber driver who took a woman to an abortion, perhaps even sue the guy who flipped a hamburger to the woman before she got an abortion. He, after all, assisted in some way. Yet you cannot sue the woman. This is a consistent trend across all of these policies, is that women are treated as almost victims of an abortion provider, and they aren't actually given, let's say, assumed kind of rational capacity to make a decision. There are other, even more theatrical anti-abortion legislations done by, social conservatives or paleo conservatives, what have you, in which they will make it illegal to have a racist abortion, illegal to have a sexist abortion, and so on. You can tell that they just have this warm feeling in their tummy that they are putting forth this great legislation that's going to revive family values. The fact is, just this theatricality of it all indicates that it's mere virtue signaling, that they don't want to take seriously the woman's choice, that they want to, in a way, in their own mind, arrest the hitman, but not the person who hired the hitman, if, again, you assume that abortion is murder. Now, I'll quickly close with this. Abortion is, in a way, a proxy battle. Zen Shapiro, who, again, I had not been familiar with until I just saw him right now, has announced himself as Chad Pilled and a paleocon and all that kind of stuff, which is great on many levels. But the fact is that most people who fight for the pro-life cause are fighting kind of another battle. They want to bring back Christianity. They want to bring back family values. They want to bring back tradition. And this is the means that they're going to do that. Well, I hate to inform you of this, and this is not a good means of accomplishing those goals, which many of which I agree with, many which are laudable. Forcing a woman to engage in motherhood is not going to create good mothers. The fact that these women want to have abortions, and in fact want to engage in a rather nasty procedure, all but guarantees that they are physically and mentally defective people who we would be better off living without, to put it quite bluntly. 50% of abortions are given to women who are below the poverty level. 75% of abortions are to women who are at or below the poverty level or a little bit high. 50%, again, of women who have abortions have already had an abortion. So this notion that you're going to take away the abortions and they're all going to become trad wives is just rather silly. I'll wrap it up really quick. Sorry about that. I'm long-winded. You guys have to bear with me. I'll give Zen as much time as he'd like.
We got that.
Okay. Real quick, if you judge abortions on a measure of abortions per 100,000 women, African Americans have 27 abortions per 100,000 women. Whites, non-Hispanic whites, have less than half of that. They actually have 10 abortions per 100,000 women. Ending abortion, this will be the end, my conclusion, ending abortion would have dramatically coarsening effects towards the culture. If you want to create strong families, you should be encouraging the most beautiful and intelligent people to reproduce. And I think there are actually a lot of economic and social issues that can be used in that way.
All right, can we cut it off, please?
But ending abortion
this
is
well
not
over
going
5
to...
minutes. This is well over 5 minutes. All right.
Yeah, it was, but I'm going to give you my opening statement. I'm going to give you as much time as you want.
I don't need that much time.
Zen. Well, okay. But
we agreed on the format of 5-minute opening statements. Okay. So yeah, I'm pro-life. I oppose all abortions. I'm not sure if Richard acknowledges it or not, but the scientific fact of the matter is that human life begins at the moment of conception. And this follows. If we need to discuss that and confirm why that is the case, then we can. But being that is the case, it follows that an abortion is by definition killing an innocent human being, which I am opposed to. And basically the question I would propose to Richard is, what is your justification to support the killing of an innocent human being? Whatever your logic is that you propose, I'm going to do what I always do. I'm just going to force it to the extreme and see how it holds up. And it sounds, he kind of said a lot there, but the part that he mentioned, and I didn't have to pry it out of him, was the eugenics aspect. And he mentioned Margaret Sanger. I didn't even have to bring that up myself, which is cool.
No.
Because it sounds like he's gonna be honest, and I don't have to dig it out of him. And we can revisit that, but I really just want to know the principle as to why you do support this, and then we can go from there. And I can tell you why I oppose that. So,
well, it's funny that you make recourse to science and you don't make recourse to, say, the Hebrew Bible or the New Testament or Catholic law or something, because those are actually quite ambiguous. I would agree with you that some kind of life form is created the moment that the sperm hits the egg.
A human life.
And
do you agree that it's a human life?
Well, of course, it's a human life.
Okay,
it's
great.
not a dog or something.
Okay, great. That's fine. So then you acknowledge then
that doesn't necessarily mean it's a person. You're engaging.
It's a human, right?
It's a human life form.
So what's the difference between a human and a person?
A person is someone who is in the world and thus has rights because they are a member of a wider community.
Okay, so when you say in the world, is the woman in the world? The woman who's pregnant, is she in the world?
The woman's in the world, but the life form is not.
Okay, but the life form is in the woman and the woman is in the world. So let me give you an analogy. If I am in my house and my house is in the world, am I not in the world?
That you're just being a bit ridiculous there.
No, I would like you to answer that. If I'm in my house and the house is in the world, am I in the world?
You're playing word games. I'm not.
No,
I'm not going to comply. No, I'm not. I'm being very blunt here.
How is it not in the world? Where is it if it's not in the world?
What is your religious tradition? I'm just curious because you're a paleocon, I presume.
Deflect. Not that it's.
I'm not going to answer a question that's just pretty absurd. I mean,
to just challenge the proposition that you set forth that it's not in the world. If it's not in the world, where is it? You're
playing weird logic games. It's
no,
not
I'm just being logical.
Analysis.
If it's not in the world, where is it?
Logic
is it on Mars?
Logic can be very deceptive. Obviously, I'll tell you, the life form is in the woman. Rights are you are assuming that all life on Earth or all human life on Earth has rights just by being. That is absolutely incorrect. You have rights because you are part of a wider community and you are a citizen in a state.
When are rights acquired?
Well, you're just engaging in a kind of human rights dogma.
Yep. When are human rights acquired? This is what I want. This is your position. When are human rights acquired?
I think the whole notion of human rights is rather silly, but you gain rights because you are a member of a community and therefore you are given rights by the state. That is just simply a fact.
The government gives you your right to life?
Yes, the government gives you my rights. If I go on an African safari and I am brutally murdered and eaten by cannibals, I don't have any real recourse because I am outside of the shadow of the state. By your claim, you are engaging in a kind of extreme liberalism in which all things on Earth have rights guaranteed them by something. I am engaging in a realism. The government gives you rights. Yes, period. End of statement.
Okay, listen.
You don't have rights otherwise.
At what point are human rights acquired? At what
you're acquired in terms of in the context of this debate. Yeah. You are granted human rights when you are recognized by the state. That is when you were born and given a birth certificate.
Okay, great. Yes. So you're saying that if the state does not recognize you as one of their citizens, then you do not have human rights in that state, correct?
I would. Is that
correct? Is that correct?
I won't say human rights. I would say rights.
The rights. Okay, right to
life.
A
right is a real thing.
Right.
Like it's a
what we're talking about right now would be the right to life. So would you say that if a human is not a citizen of a state and therefore not acknowledged by that state, then they are not afforded the right to life? Is that what you would say?
No, they simply aren't. And it's very sad that they aren't, but they ain't.
Okay, great. Man. So then let's say we've got an illegal immigrant from Mexico or anywhere that is not a citizen of the United States. They are not granted a right to life. Would it be okay to kill them?
No, because there are other laws against killing people. The other thing, when you're
But
a
they're not
non-citizen,
afforded the right to life.
You
hold
gotta
on,
let me
you
finish
gotta let
answering.
me respond, okay? Because I think we're running into some semantic issues. No, if I myself travel to Mexico, it's not free game on a non-Mexican citizen. Of
This is what your
course, I
position
don't think that.
entails.
No, it's not. It's not. There are laws against killing illegal. You still can't murder an illegal immigrant. There are laws against brutally treating animals. I mean, we
Okay.
have laws. And yet, I just to be honest,
Listen,
just before we
dude.
went on here, I just enjoyed some tasty bacon. That being said, I don't have laws to just brutally murder pigs if I go visit a farm. They have rights because
that's
they
not what I'm talking
have
about, though.
privileges
Listen.
because they are in the shadow of the state.
Okay, but listen, I'm not talking about like visiting somewhere and having a visa or whatever, a passport to go to another country and being recognized by that state. Therefore, I'm talking about an illegal immigrant that comes to a country and is not recognized by that state. They are then not afforded the right to life by your own lights. This is what your position entails.
They are recognized to some degree. I mean, if I go into a grocery store and I engage in shoplifting and the manager shoots me, he has murdered me. It's not like because I've broken some law, no other law applies. I mean, again, you're just engaging in these logical traps, but
no, you're engaging in a meta conversation about something else.
I'm kind of
better. How about this?
Let's my way out of something.
Let's see.
I'll get out of any of these traps except for me.
You said that. Well, I'm not setting a trap. I'm simply just applying your logic to the broader.
You're playing parlor
So you
games.
said that human rights are acquired at the moment of birth when you are recognized as a citizen, right? So
I did not say human rights. I said rights.
What other rights are we talking about?
It actually is a huge difference. It's a huge difference.
Are we talking about dogs or are we talking about humans here?
We're talking about humans.
Okay, great. So human rights. There?
When you mention the term human rights, you open up this can of worms sorry, I had a
That's what the conversation's about. That's what the
conversation's about. It's not about. The conversation's about whether abortion should be legal or not.
Yeah, and that's regarding an abortion is killing a human being by definition, which would violate a human's right to life. Or if they don't have one, then okay, great. So
they don't have one.
That's your yeah. Okay, so you said that they don't get the human right to life until they are born. So would you be in favor of abortions all the way up to term for any reason?
From a matter of taste, no. But I don't want to restrict. It's just a very nasty thing. But I agree with you that logically, it's the same thing. I just find it particularly nasty, a 9-month abortion or something. But
okay, what is nasty about a 9-month abortion as opposed to a 6-month abortion?
Because most all of the Judeo-Christian religious traditions have never recognized a fetus as a person. They just simply haven't.
Are you a Judeo-Christian?
Of course not. But
okay, then how about you argue your own position instead of mine?
I'm showing why your position doesn't have a lot of validity.
That's not what we're talking about.
There was not a human rights dogma. You are a paleo-conservative. There is not a human rights dogma in the Hebrew Bible or in the New Testament. There was a notion of, particularly with the church fathers, a notion of quickening.
I understand. Okay, you can say whatever you want about the Bible. That's fine. But you just admitted that you are not a Christian. You're not a Judeo-Christian, whatever that even means. And you don't hold these same moral standards. So I would ask you, what is the difference between an abortion at 9 months versus 6 months or 3 months? What is the difference?
It's simply a matter of taste and discretion.
But what precisely is the difference? How do you actually argue this?
I just told you that if I'm logically consistent, I wouldn't make it illegal to have a 9-month abortion. But the fact is, it is a matter of taste and discretion.
Great. So you are okay with abortions all the way up to term for any reason, correct?
As I stated to you, I'm not exactly okay with it in the sense that
wouldn't object to
we do things all the time that are just simply a matter of taste, if you want to say that.
Okay, but
I agree to be logically consistent. Yes, abortion should be available.
Okay, all the way up to term for any reason. Okay, and you would say that the moment that it travels through the birth canal, it is no longer okay to kill it. Is that correct?
It is recognized as a real thing, yes, by the government.
As opposed to what, a fake thing?
Rights.
As opposed to a fake thing? Like, what are you saying
here? It's
here?
not considered a life form. Again,
yes, it
tradition.
is.
it's not considered a human citizen. I'll correct myself there.
Neither is an illegal immigrant. Can we kill illegal immigrants?
And you're doing this thing again. Of course
I'm
not.
applying. I told you what I was going to do. I'm applying your logic to a broader scenario to see how it holds up. And every time I do that, you run away, which shows that your logic is not sound.
No, I
That's
don't.
exactly how
There are
you
all
test-
these
that's how you test
assumptions
somebody's
built
logic.
into things.
You force it to the extreme and see how it holds up. And if it doesn't hold up, it must not be very sound logic. So when
that's actually a parlor game. That's not philosophy.
When I challenge the logic that you set forth, that says that they're not granted a human right to life unless they are a citizen of the state, and then I place that in the scenario of an illegal immigrant that is not recognized as a citizen by the state, and you run from it. That's because you're scared of your own logic. It doesn't hold up in the extreme.
I'm not really. I've just argued in favor of abortion on the basis of eugenics. I'm not sure I'm afraid of the implications.
Well, then
of what
bite
I'm
the bullet and tell me you're okay with killing illegals too.
That's absurd.
Oh, well, that's your logic. This is your position, dude.
I'm going to stop this, but you're playing a parlor game. Like, I could make a equally valid, purely logical argument that a woman has, if there is a parasite in her body, that is something that is utterly and completely dependent upon her, which obviously a fetus is, that it is ultimately her body and her choice that she can make a decision to rid her body of that parasite.
Okay.
Now, that was made by a lot of liberals. That was made by Murray Rothbard. That was his exact.
Hey, listen, dude, is a human being
but that's a purely logical liberal argument. I'm trying to get us away from that.
No, it's not. Listen, dude, listen. No, it's not
make a realistic argument.
Because it entails the denial of science. A human being is not a parasite. You understand that, right?
Well, a fetus kind of is a parasite.
It's actually not a parasite. A parasite is a completely different classification.
It's totally dependent upon.
Hang on. Hey, a fetus or a parasite is a completely different classification scientifically as opposed to a human being. Nobody with any realm of rationale within a scientific field that has any knowledge whatsoever would know you
semantics. No, I'm not. I'm actually not playing semantics. You are.
Yes, you are. You're calling a human being a parasite. And
this is. I know you are, but what am I? What I mean by can you not interrupt me?
The cope is real already. Yeah, go ahead. You're embarrassing yourself, just so you know.
Okay, Zen.
Go ahead.
Okay, all right.
Can you please not interrupt me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I make a little bit of a longer point. What I mean when I say that you're playing semantic games is that when I'm using the term parasite, I'm not referring to like a germ or something like this. I am referring to, I'm not claiming that a life form is a germ. What I'm saying is that life form first off is not a rational actor. Whether it has consciousness is certainly dubious, but it is totally dependent upon the mother. It cannot exist outside of the womb. If it just simply can't.
Okay.
And a classically liberal argument made by many liberals and made by Murray Rothbard, who's a famed right-wing libertarian, is that if there is something totally dependent upon you, you have the right to expel it. Now, I am not making that argument. Why I mentioned that was simply to prove that if you're making a purely rational argument, you're basically going to descend into these kinds of logic games where your entire argument this evening has been.
What argument are you making? You're just saying.
I made my argument is that you have to engage in the real world.
So what argument are you making? You admit that a human is not a parasite. Great. So you can't use that argument. What argument are you making to justify killing innocent human beings?
You were just complaining that I spent too much time making my argument.
That was in your opening.
I'm making an argument that's engaged in the. I'm making an argument that is engaged with the real world. First off, abortion is a reality among 20% of women. The pro-life cause is basically an exercise in moral virtue signaling. Secondly, there are real effects of abortion. It has consequences.
Yeah, such as death of innocent human beings. Do you support that?
Well,
do you support killing innocent human beings? Do you?
Again, you're just trying to get me in.
No, I'm literally asking you a very simple question. Do you support killing innocent human beings? Yes or no?
I'm not going to answer this just preposterous
So how is this a
question.
fair discussion?
Do you think that 20% of women are murderers and should be thrown into prison?
Yes,
Do you think that?
Yes.
Well, okay.
Now, being that human life begins at conception, and you do agree to that, you agree with that scientific fact, otherwise you're a science denier, and that necessarily follows that an abortion is killing a human being by definition, and you are in support of this all the way up to term, up until birth. So I'm asking you, is that your position? Are you in support of killing innocent human beings?
I'm not in support of killing innocent human beings. Again,
Then you're
you are
pro-life.
recognized as a human being by the fact that you participate in a community. That is, you are a person who is a citizen, who is part of something that is larger than yourself. You do not have human rights just by the fact that you exist.
Okay,
you just
and then
simply
but then your standard for when human rights are acquired was the moment that you are recognized by the state. And then I challenged that. Hang on. I challenged that. And I said, okay, let's propose a scenario where we've got an illegal immigrant. This is very realistic. An illegal immigrant comes to a country or a state where they are not recognized. Would they then not
They
be
are
afforded?
recognized.
No, they would not be. They would
yes,
not
they
be
are. They are
they
put
are
in
not. They have
prison
no social
sometimes.
security
They're
number.
put
They
into
have
the
no-
court system.
You're
They
coping.
are
You're coping. No, they're
recognized
not.
on some
Let's say
level.
that
They
they're
are just
not.
simply
Let's
not
say that they're
recognized as a
not. No.
citizen.
Let's say that they're not recognized. Let's say that they are an illegal immigrant. They just crossed the border and they have not been apprehended. Nobody knows who they are. All we do know is that they are an illegal immigrant not recognized by the state.
You can't
they hang on,
commit
by your
murder.
own lights, in order to be consistent, you would have to say that that human is not afforded the right to life and they could be killed and you would not object to it. In order to be consistent, you have to take this position.
Zen, you are like a kind of less interesting Ben Shapiro. You're taking these
Ad hominem.
logical.
Is that your
Well,
position?
I'm sorry. Sometimes ad hominem is the best
look, we
argument.
understand-
You're
we understand
taking
you don't
these
like those kind of people.
extreme
I'm not gonna say it.
logical. You're taking these extreme logical, like doing a parlor.
That's how
trick.
you test the soundness of one's logic. You take it to the extreme to see how it holds up.
That's not how you live in the real world, Zen.
That's how
you
debate.
live
Hey,
on
what are we
Discord
doing?
chats
That's how
or
you
whatever.
debate.
That's
how
not
you debate. We're debating.
you know, I actually don't care about these dunking arguments on internet.
I'm just
debates.
trying to flesh
I
out your
am
position,
interested in talking seriously about issues,
Same,
and I'm
same.
interested in learning from people. When someone is playing logical parlor games, I just can't take them seriously, to be honest. You kind of remind me of people who kind of want to dunk on new atheists. Well, I'm all for dunking on new atheism
absolutely.
on some level, but
Yeah.
they'll say things like, do you believe that there's one absolute truth? And they'll say no. And then they'll say, well, how do you know that that's true? Ooh,
Yeah,
slam dunk.
Yes,
That's
exactly. Yes,
playing
you got it. Yes, you
word
got it.
games. That's
It's
very
exposing-
childish.
It's exposing,
then.
no, it's not. It's exposing the incoherence of the
It
atheist
is.
worldview. But
It's
that's not what we're
very
talking about right now.
childish.
Hang on,
Then.
no.
It
that's
kind of
not-
is what you're doing.
Listen, what you're doing right now is you realize you're losing the debate, so you're coping and just trying to throw ad hominems. Is it your position
No.
that if you are not recognized by the state as a citizen, that you are not granted a human right to life? Is that your position?
Yeah, you are. You
It was a
can
yes or
be
no question.
aborted. Yes,
It was a yes or no question.
Yes,
Okay,
but that
so your
doesn't mean that you
position-
can randomly murder
just to-
illegal
just to
immigrants.
be-
It's just
just to be
absurd
clear.
what you are
Okay,
arguing.
but that's where the inconsistency is. If it is your position that you are not afforded a human right to life simply because you are not recognized as a citizen, it necessarily is the case that you would be okay with killing.
No,
illegal
it's not
immigrants.
though,
That-
Zen, because we don't live in Tron where we all live on some rational motherboard of electrons and pure logic. We actually don't
We're
live
debating,
in the
dude.
Matrix.
How do
We
you
live in
debate?
the real world. I'm not interested in petty
debate.
internet debates. I'm interested in discussing seriously real issues that have consequences. If you
Dude,
think
this
you're
is-
dunking on me and that makes you feel good,
Dude, I'm not trying to.
great.
dunk on you.
I
I'm simply
don't
exposing
care.
You can't
I'm-
hold.
I'm
you can't
you're
hold your logic
exposing
to the
some
extreme.
logic that is built on assumptions that simply do not hold water, Zen. That's
Dude,
what you're doing.
Richard, what is a debate? How do you debate something? You propose your position. You lay out what the logic is behind it. What is your reasoning? What is your rationale behind your position? And what does your opponent do? Your opponent challenges it. They take what I do. take your logic, apply it to broader scenarios, apply it to the extreme, just to see that if it is sound logic. Challenge the logic.
More serious people
you
don't play parlor
you
games.
keep saying you're not interested in a logical whatever you keep calling it.
Because you're engaging on logic in such a fundamentally shallow level that it's like I'm talking to a third grader.
It's very direct. I'm literally
not.
asking
Actually,
you, what is
my own kids are really logical, and at some point you just
they definitely
grow
didn't learn
up
from
from
you.
that stuff.
They definitely didn't learn the logic from you because you're afraid of your own logic. You keep running from it.
Why don't we kind of pull it back a bit,
Why don't you, Brittany?
and the instead of doing the extreme hypotheticals,
it's
why
not
don't
hypothetical. It's not.
It is
hypothetical. Let's just try to go down whichever road Richard was trying to take you down, and see where that goes without the.
I mean, this is like
we're going in circles here now.
I mean, let me just point out, and then
if you've won the debate, you're free to leave.
No, I'm not going to leave. But if I would just like to point this out, and then we can move to whatever your other arguments are, because that's inevitable that when you realize you've lost one position, you have to move to another. But his position was that human rights are not afforded or acknowledged to humans that have not been recognized by the state. And so that's why he's okay with abortions all the way up to birth. Because when you are born, you are given a social security number, birth certificate, etc. So I present to him using the same exact logic that if you are not recognized by the state, then you are not afforded the human right to life in the case of an illegal immigrant that is not recognized by the state. So therefore, it would be okay to kill. But then he objects to that because he's inconsistent. But we can move to a new topic. If you want to make a new argument, you can. But you did, whether you admit it or not.
You make a new argument. I've responded to that like 10 times. I'm bored.
You conceded.
Why don't you talk about actual implications in the real world? So you apply, as Kant, is he enjoined us, apply your logic to the real world. Do not just play games in your head that have no connection with reality, which is what you are doing.
Okay, so is this just more ad hom?
No one possibly believes that I now think, because of my abortion stance, that it's free game on illegal immigrants or dogs or whatever. No, there are actual laws in any political situation. You cannot address these questions outside of politics. You cannot address these questions outside of real implications, such as yours, which I guess I should applaud you for confessing to, which is that you would arrest and I guess send to the electric chair 20% of the female population. At the very least, even if I disagree with that, at the very least, I can applaud you for applying your logic to the real world and not simply playing these games.
Hey, Richard, you know what this is called? It's called being consistent. If I am to oppose killing innocent human beings, and I think that should be punishable as an act of murder, and I think that murder should be punishable to the maximum extent that the law allows, then I'm going to also apply that in the case of abortions. So yeah, this is called being consistent.
All wars are going to be defensive wars on the non-aggression principle. I mean, that you're just, again, it's like, this is absurd. Human history and human life has nothing to do with any of these things. It does. Do you think all wars were unjustified if they weren't based on the non-aggression principle or some? That's just so. Well, the G word, I can't even describe it. It's absurd. It has no connection to human life or human history whatsoever. I hate to break it to you, but a lot of people were killed for what they believed in. A lot of people were killed because they were conquered by people who were bigger badasses than they were in human history. So you either want to just extract yourself from all of humanity and play like childish logic games, or you want to actually address the real world. I don't, first of all, I'll just say it. I don't care if I'm inconsistent, Zen. Inconsistency is for fags.
That's how you win a debate.
I didn't mean to say that.
That's how you win a debate. That's how you win a debate.
It's how you win some childish internet debate. I'm trying to bring us to a level. Zen, please, I dare you, say something that is mildly interesting, that isn't just repeating life begins at conception, therefore you like killing illegal immigrants. Right? Say something that is mildly insightful about any subject, including abortion. Please.
So triggered. Holy shit, dude. Listen, bro. Listen.
I'm frustrated with you because you are boring as hell because you cannot think outside of like computer programming code.
Dude,
I mean, I'm serious. Have you ever read a book, Zen?
Stop
Or do you watch internet
I
debates?
understand this is heated right now, but you are just interrupting nonstop. Listen, the simple fact of the matter is
I'm waiting.
we are having a debate. We are having an internet debate right now. And for you to say that you don't care about internet debates, you don't care about logic, and you don't care about being inconsistent, then it sounds like you are just conceding the debate. Like, what are you even doing here? What was your goal here? Is with this reinvention?
Isn't it remarkable that 70% of the isn't it remarkable that 70% of the public agrees with me entirely on this? Does that actually demonstrate something? There's something maybe wrong with just playing meaningless logic games. Like, we could play tic-tac-toe or chess. That's more.
Richard, come on, let's stick to one thing. Stop gish galloping. If it is the case, what you're doing when you say that 70%,
I've addressed this.
I'm
Brittany, please save us.
I'm moving on to something new. No, don't save him. I know he needs help, but don't save him. Listen, when you're presenting the 70% of people supporting you, therefore you're right. You're making what's called an appeal to majority. Is that what you're doing? Yes, that is what you're doing. I'm not going to let you gish gallop. Okay, so when you make an appeal to majority, and that's your principle that you're setting forth as to why you hold your position. I'm going to ask you, if it were the case that 70% of people were in support of slavery or rape, would you be okay with rape and slavery then?
The definition of rape and slavery have changed tremendously over time.
Okay, great. Let's talk about rape right now. If 70% of people were
I'm not making a Vox Populi argument. What I said, if you had listened, as opposed to just waiting for something to jump on, is that the fact that 70% of the public actually agrees with me, that's not a pure argument in itself, justification.
Okay,
but shouldn't that lead you to at least question the kind of extreme logic games that you're trying to play? Shouldn't that at least tell you that you're kind of maybe missing something? I mean, I agree it's not a pure argument, but it's not a non-argument either. If 70% of the public agrees that hamburgers are a good way to eat lunch, and your argument is that hamburgers have no nutritional or enjoyment value,
but you yourself
that might make you question yourself a little bit.
Great. You yourself just admitted you yourself just admitted that you are not making an appeal to majority argument here. So what precisely are you arguing for in this debate that we are having?
I spoke beyond my time limit, which was on, I am making an argument based on the effects of abortion. At the end of the day, ending abortion, and I guess you might want a death penalty even, but just ending abortion across the country would have tremendously terrible effects that are far worse than what we have at this moment. Such as promoting the over-fertility of people who are mentally and physically defective, in the words of Margaret Sanger. That has real consequences. And that has real consequences for the kind of world that supposedly you want to see.
When you say that, who are you referring to? The mentally and physically defective. Who are you referring to?
People who are dumb and out of control or just generally physically ugly.
What group are you talking about?
All groups.
Okay, but I mean,
there are dumb people everywhere.
I hate to do this because you keep bringing up Margaret Sanger, and I didn't want to have to expose you like this, but you are aware that black people make up like 40% of all abortions, right? So you're basically.
I said that in my opening statement. If you listen,
a better society for you is a society with less black people. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Not necessarily. I'm saying that women who seek abortions it's a kind of filtering process for women who are already kind of at least on the edge of being mentally defective, if not physically defective, and certainly of low intelligence.
So you are making an outright eugenics argument.
Yes, as I said in my opening statement.
But then
bro,
why did you waste all this time?
Are you Chad-pilled, but you're like a human rights dogmatist? That's really weak.
That's exactly what
that's what Chads want? Chads are like anti-eugenics.
Stop, dude. Stop.
Chad. Woo! Human rights, bro. I mean, it's such a joke. Right-wing Twitter is just such a joke.
You've been running from your own.
Ad hominem is the best argument sometimes, Zen. I hate to break it to you.
It's actually like one of the worst arguments, especially when that's your entire position.
Maybe the best.
So let's walk this through. What is your ideal society with eugenics implied for
a society with a population of a much higher intelligence level and indeed a much higher level of athleticism and beauty than our current cesspool. Yes.
Right. Which groups would you target then for abortions to kill the humans before they're born? Which groups are you talking about?
Abortion offers a kind of self-selective filtering mechanism in that regard. So I don't have to target anyone. It's self-selective filtering.
Okay, but which groups? Basically what I'm asking you is for
dumb
you,
people,
for
the
you,
group
yeah,
of
yeah,
dumb,
no, but
dumb, out of
which
control sluts. That's the group. That's the
Dumb,
group
out of
that
control
is
sluts, okay.
self-selecting, targeted. Yes.
All right, but this is like a very broad. Like, what is the specific demographic of these groups that you're presenting as undesirables?
Low IQ, mentally defective, out of control people.
But how would I know what they are? Like, how would I know who those people
For one
are?
thing, they get a lot of abortions. You
Mhm.
can also tell by the fact that they have face tattoos and they're drunk at 11 a.m. That's another telltale sign.
Okay. Face tattoos, that's a big one. I mean, so you're talking about like gang members?
I'm just saying, if you tattoo your face, it probably means that you're a fucking moron.
Okay. Who often? I agree for the record. But who often gets face tattoos? Gang members, right?
Maybe not.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, most of the time. Can we agree? Gang members, maybe rappers. I don't know. Oftentimes, these are demographics of non-white people. I mean, why don't you just say it, dude? Like, what are you hiding? I know we're on YouTube and all, but dude, just say it.
Say
you
what?
You want to eradicate the non-white population.
No, I don't want to eradicate the non-white population. I never said that. Those are your words.
You're dancing around that.
Actually, eugenics, if applied and applied in a very humane way, would be tremendously beneficial for the African American community. There's no question.
How so?
It would allow the society to engage in a kind of family planning in which you would not have low IQ individuals engaging in dysfunction of all kinds, including crime. And it would actually be very beneficial for the African American community and the Hispanic community.
But you understand that the path to get there would entail killing African American and Hispanic humans before they're born.
It's called birth control. Beings. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Everyone practices birth. Everyone control. These are your words. You're just throwing them out there, and I'm not doing it to you.
They meet the criteria of what we're talking about. Mass genocide.
No, they don't. We have abortion right now, Zen. You think we're engaging in mass genocide?
Yes. Hang on.
Well, okay. Take it up with the Hague.
Listen, dude,
Good luck.
You love to just go on and on. Listen. The definition of genocide is just the targeted killing of a large group of people. Okay, well, these are the unborn. This is the targeted group and the mass killing of them. This is genocide by definition. And you yourself are even targeting the non-whites. Like
I'm not. I'm actually not. There would be more white. There are more white abortions than there are non-white abortions as a number.
The abortion rates, and we can confirm this if we need to, but I think it's well known that I think the abortion here. Actually, you've got a graph here. The abortion rate. The abortion rate of Black non-Hispanics is 27.1 per 1,000, and
100,000.
It's per 1,000, and for whites it's 10.
Oh, is it actually 1,000?
Yeah, okay. 10 for white people it is 10 per 1,000. For non-white, for Black non-Hispanics, it's 27.1. So they've got almost a 3 times higher abortion rate than whites. So yeah, this is what you are in favor of.
They have much more than 3 times. It's just a matter of demographics and statistics. I think that race is a real concept, that it is biologically valid. I also think that human intelligence is correlated. It's not exactly identical, but it's correlated with a lot of dysfunctional behavior like crime and acting like a maniac. And
you advocate to
many exceptions.
You advocate to eradicate the population.
No, I advocate promoting birth control among those populations.
Birth control by way of killing human beings that have already been conceived.
Well, I would also say this, then, if you want me to go there, I actually will. If I had my way, we would not only promote not abortion, because I kind of will grant you that there's a certain degree of nastiness to it, but we would promote birth control for people who are of lower intelligence and are just simply mentally defective. And we would outlaw
stick to that for a second, because you
outlaw birth control for people who are highly functional, because the great tragedy and kind of paradox of birth control, with Lothrop Stoddard recognized, is
Dude,
that
listen,
if you're
listen,
smart
okay,
enough
stop,
and you
dude,
have a
stop.
long time
This is-
horizon, you'll use a condom. You're the last person who should be using a condom.
Listen,
So
dude,
I think we
listen,
should
hey,
actually discourage
listen,
birth
Richard,
control
you just keep
among people of
talking
high
when I'm trying to
intelligence.
dispute what you're saying. You keep glossing over. You said there's a degree of nastiness to abortion. What precisely?
It's not
let's
ideal.
let's stick to this for a second. What is the degree of nastiness to abortion that you are referring to?
You have to go into a physician. They're going to remove a fetus from a woman
and kill it.
I would much prefer, yes, it's going to be killed just by the act itself.
Yeah.
I would much prefer that they used a condom and we didn't have to go through this kind of thing.
Okay, why would you prefer? Hang on. Okay, great. So you agree that the nastiness of an abortion is the fact that it is killing a human being, an innocent human being. That is what you don't like about abortions, right?
I don't think any of us are innocent.
Okay, innocent in the sense of like not guilty of any crimes or offenses. Is a fetus guilty of something?
It's not either innocent or guilty. I mean, it's not.
No, it actually is.
It's
either guilty or innocent.
Knows no good and evil. I mean, I don't know what to say about that.
Okay,
but I'm not innocent. I mean,
we got that. Trust me. Everybody who's watching knows that you're not innocent. Now listen.
All the Chad human rights dogmatists
is a fetus guilty of any crime or offense?
No.
Okay, so
it's not innocent either.
By virtue of the law of exclusion. Hey, listen, dude, listen.
If it's innocent either. You're just playing word games again.
No, I'm not. I'm literally just trying to.
No, a fetus does not rob a liquor store. I mean, that's just so stupid.
Exactly. It's not even.
It's just so beyond stupid. I can't even put it into words.
Be honest with yourself for 5 minutes, okay? Or 5 seconds even. So listen, if it is not guilty of any crime or offense, then by virtue of the law of excluded middle, if it's not guilty, then it is innocent. It's either guilty or it's not guilty, making it innocent.
I don't agree with that. I feel like you might be a computer programmer. You have all this like binaries, things like that. A fetus is not either innocent or guilty. It has not committed a crime, obviously not. It can't use rationality. It knows no good and evil. It's not a member of a community yet. So I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, but if it's not, okay,
you're just engaging in totally unserious arguments.
Listen, okay, so
I would respect you more if you quoted scripture, because that's actually a conversation. If you made
being so bad
realistic,
I wouldn't even humor that conversation. I wouldn't even humor that. Like,
why?
You're being so bad.
Aren't you
right now,
a Jew or something?
Oh yeah, I'm sure you would love to dunk on the Jews if you could, but no, I'm not a Jew.
No, I wouldn't. I would prefer that you were a Jew because you would be like more intelligent.
I doubt that you would prefer that I'm a Jew. Come on, bro. Now,
I would prefer that you offered serious arguments that come from some kind of tradition, as opposed to just yammering away at these logical games.
Richard. Hey, here's my serious argument. Human life begins at conception. Abortions are killing innocent human beings. Killing innocent human beings is wrong. Do you agree or do you disagree that killing innocent human beings is wrong?
Killing innocent, that is, people who have not committed a crime. Do
you agree or disagree with that? Come on, bro.
I just said it's wrong.
Okay, It is wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong to kill innocent human beings, and that's what an abortion is. So how do you
just non sequitur,
bro? How do you justify? It's just you're going all over the place. You're doing whatever you can to deflect from what I'm saying, but I'm not going to let it happen.
You're not saying
everybody knows that you're slippery, dude. Everybody knows that you're slippery. Listen, you don't like killing innocent. You don't like killing innocent human beings, and an abortion is killing an innocent human being. So wouldn't it follow that you don't?
He's
like
not innocent, dude. You're using the word innocent as if that you need to unpack that word innocent. That has theological connotations. Innocent, that also has criminal connotations.
You don't believe
and you're just eliding both of them and saying, blah.
You don't believe in God. We're not even going to go to theology because you're an atheist, clearly. But listen, innocent being just by definition, everybody Google the definition of innocent. Not guilty of a crime or offense. That's what innocent means. A fetus, an unborn human being, is
from
not
a Protestant perspective, you are born in sin. You are not innocent. So innocent can have all sorts of connotations that actually intelligent and educated people know about, i.e. not use. And I'm sorry. I'm talking to a fourth grader here.
No,
I just am. Brittany, You've got to bring in a caller or something. This is just so tedious.
You're looking for help.
I actually was a teacher at one point. I taught at a prep school.
I'm sorry for your students.
That's a kind of a funny joke. I'll grant you that one.
Yeah.
I was a teacher at a prep school for not innocent children who had fucked up in their life in some way.
Okay, great.
They were more cultured than you were.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, I just don't know what to say. Zen, tell me something that is actually insightful outside of playing mathematical masturbation games.
This is like
please.
arguably the worst pro-choice debater I've ever faced.
We should have done a eugenics debate. We should have just done that.
That's just far better than you. You say the same thing over and over. My mind is tired.
You don't engage with any of it. You just keep running from it.
I'm not going to engage with simplistic, logical traps that are worthy
with the pro-choice argument.
High schoolers.
Okay, if you are pro-choice, if you are pro-abortion, then defend that position. We're not talking.
I have given you an argument which you have not addressed. Zen, you have not addressed my opening statement.
Yeah, because
you just simply keep going back to the same thing, which is an innocent human being is being destroyed. It's boring as hell. If that makes you feel good to be that small-minded, great, but it's not interesting for the audience.
Okay, and he doesn't stop. You just keep going. You go on these tirades and say nothing because you're coping because you can't defend your position.
I'm coping. I mean, again, you're just using like internet slang. He's coping. No, Zen, you're boring as hell.
When we're talking about innocence, and if you are to apply the original sin from the Bible, but you yourself are an atheist, that is a bad faith argument. So I would like.
No, it's not. I am faithfully representing what sincere people believe.
Okay, so you listen. Okay.
How can I talk about Protestant and not talk about a religion that I don't believe in? Are you that stupid, Zen?
If you are not a Christian,
I'm curious, Zen. Have you gone to college? Is there any reason for me to be talking to someone this dumb?
Everybody can see that you are triggered right now, so you are just.
Yeah, I'm triggered because you bore the hell out of me, Zen. You are a little immature peasant.
Holy shit.
You have nothing of value to say, Zen, and I would be more than willing to talk to a sincere pro-life Christian who has something to say.
Okay, come on, dude.
You have nothing to say, Zen, yet you keep talking.
Hey, Richard, what is the definition of innocent?
The definition of innocent has many layers to it. You can be not guilty of a crime in a kind of political or civic sense. You can also be innocent in a moral or even theological sense, which has many other different connotations that are outside of crime. If you are a sincere Protestant, you don't believe that you're innocent. You are absolutely guilty and deserving of hellfire, but you can achieve eternal bliss by trusting in Jesus Christ.
We love the tirade.
It's a real thing, Zen.
Everybody loves the tirade.
I just faithful. Brittany, I can't take this guy. He's too fucking stupid.
I understand that you're frustrated. I understand that. No, hang on. No,
to fucking college. Have you ever read a fucking book in your little miserable life?
Stop seething.
Have you?
Listen, dude. Listen.
I genuinely wish your mother had been a little pro-choice, to be honest, because you are exactly the kind of moron that this world does not need more of, Zen.
You are doing God's work right now. You're looking so good. This reformed former neo-Nazi turned born again, whatever the fuck you are, because nobody has any clue. You don't answer any questions. You're a slippery motherfucker. But now listen. When you are prescribing the word, when you yourself are prescribing the word innocent to something, what is your definition? What is your definition of innocent?
I have multiple definitions depending on the context. I could say that a young girl is innocent, an innocent beauty. I could say that he's not guilty of committing robbery. I operate in the real world in which words have different meanings.
Okay, so in
depending on the context.
In the context of a human being in the womb that has not committed a robbery, has not ever even told
it's neither guilty or innocent because it knows neither good nor evil. And it does not use rationality and is not in the world. It is neither guilty or innocent.
Will you stop with the tirade?
I just answered your question, Zen.
Dude, will
You are the
stop
most
with the tirade?
annoying little teenager. Do you know, I actually do have Chad values, Zen. I really
No, you
wish
don't.
you would have
No,
been
you don't.
beaten
No, you
up. Yeah, I
You can-
do,
you can
actually.
beat me up.
Unlike
Even with
you,
your roving
I
gang of
probably actually,
neo-Nazis, you
I
cannot beat me
actually
up.
have
How much
reproduced
do you bench?
myself.
How much do
You
you
should be beaten up by a
How much-
bully
It
because
wouldn't
you're a
happen. It
little
couldn't
peasant,
happen.
Zen.
It couldn't
You're
happen.
below
Listen to
me.
yourself.
I hate to break it to you, bud.
Oh, okay. So now, yeah.
But
Now
you
humans
offer
are above
nothing
others?
of substance, Zen. You play
Yeah,
the same logic game. I am bored as hell. Brittany, please, for the
quite the
God's
board
sake,
again.
We'll go
What-
into the
what
Q&A.
born
Q&A
again
so this
the
guy can shut up.
The reformed neo-Nazi. He's sure learned a lot. He's asserting himself as more valuable than other
Oh,
humans.
that sounds really right wing of you, Zen. You're calling
It
people
is.
neo-Nazis who
It is.
clearly
I am a
aren't.
far right winger. Yeah, but I'm not.
Oh
a
yeah,
neo-Nazi
you're a
like
real
you.
right winger. You believe in human rights dogma,
Yeah, and
bro.
to the
You're
extent
a
of not killing them.
liberal. There's
To
a
the
word
extent
for
of
that. It's
not
called a
killing them.
liberal. But I
No,
don't
I'm
think
not a
you're
liberal.
even a liberal because actual liberals are more intelligent and they've actually read a book in their
Bro,
little
it's just
miserable
constant
lives, Zen.
dude, it's just constant ad hominem.
Yeah, because with you, it's really
Constant
fucking
debate.
easy, Zen, because you're useless.
Oh my god, bro. Okay, do you have anything else?
Oh my God, bro. I'm being made fun of because I'm literally
You have any-
dumb.
you want-
Yeah, that's what
literally
happens
dumb,
when
yes.
you're literally
Amazing
dumb,
argument.
Zen. That's what
Amazing
happens, bro.
arguments.
People make fun of you because you're useless.
Amazing.
That's what
argument.
you are. You are a useless waste. You do not offer any substance to a conversation, which actually could be really
Wow.
good. And I am willing to respectfully converse with a sincere pro-life person
No,
who
you're not.
brings
No,
a
you're not.
perspective to a debate.
You
I
know why
am
you don't like me? You know why you don't like me?
do that.
Richard,
Talking with you is torture. Brittany, I am leaving unless you do a Q&A.
All right,
Let me
we're
say
gonna go
one
to the
last thing.
Q&A.
One last thing, and I promise we can go to the Q&A because he's coping so hard and seething.
Again, this is
Yes,
like internet
I'm just
slang.
gonna say one
You're
last
coping,
thing, one
yeah.
last thing, and then we
You're
can go to Q&A.
literally an
Listen,
idiot.
The reason you don't like me, the reason that this is torture for you to talk to me is because I am challenging you on literally every point that you make and
No, you're
showing you
not.
why it doesn't hold up, and you don't like that. You get frustrated when I show you how inconsistent and weak your positions are, and it actually exposes that you haven't reformed at all. You're the same as you always were, and you admitted that when you were seething so hard, wishing that I had been aborted,
Seething.
asserting yourself as more valuable than me and above me.
Yes,
You don't
Zen,
sound-
because
you don't
I'm more
sound very
intelligent than
reformed,
you,
bro.
and
You
I
don't sound
bring
very
something to
reformed.
the conversation.
Yeah,
You're
there
an
you go, there you
idiot,
go. Okay.
Zen.
Okay,
You're
we can go to
just
Q&A,
an
Q&A.
idiot.
All right, so we're gonna move on. All right, I'm gonna read up some of the super chats from CG. Make sure I'm muted. This was a bad faith debate. Sorry, Dickie. Zen was in better form last night, but this was a waste of time. Zen,
How much do
do
you
I
better
agree.
next time in
How
your
much do you
open.
I
bench,
totally
CG?
agree.
From our case outpost, right to exist and consistency are both overrated. Probably certain. How can you say humans are citizens, but they say illegals are humans? Inconsistent the entire time, and you ran from questions.
Every time.
Um,
Every single time.
Probably certain says, great job, Zen. I think Dick owes you his 80,000 Twitter followers because he clearly knows nothing. Let's see here. Let's see if there's any questions. Ali says, immigrant hypo fails because Richard believes in no right to life, but just a legal right to not be murdered, which applies per USA government.
Well, that's
to
what
illegal
Yeah.
citizens.
that's what the right to life is, the right to live and to not be killed. So it doesn't fail. It actually holds up to a T, and then he runs from it because he realizes that. But yeah.
Okay. I feel like this would have been a better as like a eugenics debate, like maybe something like that might be.
I mean, he would just run from that too. I mean, every time you push him to his extreme,
yeah.
he just
I've
runs away.
really run from a position.
You
like-
did it the whole time.
Like Zen is more of a abortion, like he's like an absolutist, and he's said that he would jail people that go get an abortion and the doctors. Maybe a
Yep.
better opponent for this type of debate would be somebody who does have the three criterias that the exceptions. I think that might be able to move a conversation along.
What do
a
you
little
mean?
bit easier.
What criteria?
You know, for rape, incest, and
That wouldn't be pro-life then. That would be pro-choice.
well, I mean, they still call themselves pro-life.
But either way, like you could, even if I did hold that position, which I don't, but even if I did, like you could still challenge him on the same exact points. Like, okay, well, we believe in the human right to life, and you could just take it all the way up to birth, and if they're not recognized as a citizen, okay, illegal immigrants, same thing.
Yeah, I just can't wait for a world with more children of rapists in it. That just sounds
okay.
great.
Well, let me ask you this, Richard.
You paleocons.
Hey, Richard.
So awesome.
Let me ask you this.
You guys are the biggest fucking idiots I've ever met.
Yeah, okay, great. You just love to go on tirades. Richard, if your father committed a crime, like if your father robbed a bank, should you go to jail?
No.
Okay, great. I agree. So if your father committed a rape and you were conceived as a result, but you had nothing to do with the rape itself and you were innocent, should you be punished by way of death for your father's rape?
I would support if a woman chooses to, I would support her.
Yeah, there you go. So you're inconsistent.
Evacuating a fetus from her womb, which is not murder.
The euphemisms there. The euphemisms. It actually is murder by definition, unjust killing of a human being.
By definition, your definition? You're just throwing things out that have no connection to reality.
Okay.
Never in human history has abortion been considered the same as murder.
Hey,
not even in the most Christian society has abortion been equated with murder. Period. So your definition has no relation to human history.
We understand.
That is how stupid it is.
We understand.
All right, Brittany, I'm out.
Right.
I can't take this. This is so fucking
it's because
boring.
you just keep going on tirades. You just keep
no,
going on
it's
tirades.
because you have nothing to say of substance, Zen.
Holy
right,
shit.
Yeah, Storm Petal said, I am unironically willing to debate Richard Spencer on abortion without all the childish nonsense, Brittany.
Well, I would be willing to listen to that person.
Yeah. Let me see what we had here from CG. Zen, is this nothing more than a clout chasing enterprise? I wanted better from you. PRs are better than your virgin lifters versus Chad fighters.
I don't know what that means, but CG, stop coping, bro. I'm out here advocating to not kill innocent human beings, and this guy's over here presenting a eugenics argument and then running from his position every time I force it.
If someone disagrees, it's like, seethe more, bro. That's just a cope. It's just so. Yeah. You're 12.
You're coping with the fact that you can't actually defend your.
No, I'm coping with the fact that I'm talking to a moron, Brittany. I just can't take this guy.
Right,
I'm sorry. Brittany, you have always. I stuck with this for an hour, Brittany, because you have been totally respectful. You contacted me. She's always been respectful. She's a very good host. She gives me the links beforehand. She reminds me. I really have no problem with you, and I'm sorry about this. I cannot. This is like ruining my day. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. I am sorry to you because I do not mean this as any disrespect.
So bad.
And Todd, that was a cool guy. We talked the other night.
Thank you.
Yeah, no disrespect to your show. This is just annoying me to a point that like I want to go.
Or what are you gonna say? Dude?
I want to go read a book right now just to like. Yeah, do something that is intellectually fruitful, which is not talking to Zen. So all apologies, Brittany, Todd. Right. Thank you. No disrespect meant. All right.
All right. Thanks for coming on.
Good luck, Zen.
I wish I could say it was a pleasure, but it wasn't, Richard. I know you heard that.
All right, I'm gonna read some of the other super chats. From Avi.
Quits.
Biggest cope I've ever seen all week from Richard. Dismissing hypotheticals because not real world though is the hallmark of a philosophically illiterate. Let me see what else we have here. I think like tomfoolery might have been an interesting match with this too.
He would have got beat down because he's not actually he doesn't take it far enough. I mean,
well, I think what I'm seeing here is like it would have been more of a eugenics debate. I think is a better a debate than just the abortion debate.
Well, the thing is, he wouldn't actually debate eugenics because he hides his eugenics like ideals behind the pro-choice position. Like he's like hiding his power level in a way.
He said he was arguing for eugenics,
but then he doesn't actually defend it. Every time I took him anywhere, he would just get frustrated and get mad. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, anybody.
He did have it in his open. He did. He said that a policy that's eugenics based. He quoted Margaret Sanger. He went over most controversial. He actually said that it's a less nasty form of family planning. I jotted it all down, but he
did say it.
Yeah, he did. But anyway, it's all good.
Just the wrong matchup. Let's do it. My first debate for your first debate. Let me see here. What do we have? From Cute Root. Hello, Brittany. Can you tell Richard Spencer that I think he is a gay pussy and a subversive federal agent? Opinions expressed
Definitely
are my
a
own
Fed.
and do not reflect the views of politically provoked. Thanks,
Richard
Cute
Spencer, Fed confirmed. I don't believe that he's reformed.
Ozzy, Shalom Zen, outstanding performance to Dick Spencer. So what if the PL movement is grandstanding, assuming it even is?
Wait,
CG
what?
says, Zen, fuck off.
Wait,
You built up some respectable work in the past month and spent it all in this bad faith effort. Non-sequiturs aren't logic.
CG, I just got a question for you. How much do you bench, bro? How tall are you? Put it in chat. Let everybody roast you. All right, but real quick, can you go back to the one before that? Like, in all seriousness.
Which one?
The one right before that, whatever it was.
Was it the Cute one?
No, it was something like moral grandstanding or something.
Okay, wait.
Is the pro-life grandstanding?
I gotta undo some of these. Hold on. Undo. Okay, so from Ozzy, Shalom Zen, outstanding performance to Dick Spencer. So what if the PL movement is grandstanding, assuming it even is?
Yeah, I mean, I think grandstanding just means like, doesn't mean like, I think it goes back to like virtue signaling, but it's not, because we actually believe this. Like, people that are truly pro-life, we actually believe you should not kill innocent humans, which is what an abortion is. And I'm not just grandstanding or virtue signaling or bad faith, whatever. I'm literally coming onto live streams. I'm talking to people on the internet all the time, advocating that they do not kill innocent humans, because this is the wrong thing to do. I'm not just putting on a show. That's not the intention here. It just turned out that way because that dude was off the fucking wagon.
All right. So from Probably Certain, are ad homs because he has no argument. Oh, I guess he meant, okay, Richard. Ad homs because he has no argument. You cope harder than cope about you wanting the POC gone, people of color gone. Was great watching your fragile ego get wrecked. Okay.
So true. So true.
I gotta make some of these bigger. It's like my eyes are literally dying inside. All right, so from Kevin C. If a proud pregnant woman 8 months along is shot in her womb by someone who doesn't want to see her have her child, but she survives the attack herself, what charges are laid? Oh, that was to him, to Rich. Oh well. All right, from Unleashed. Ha 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 ha. Watching Spencer Spurg, LOL. Go off Zen, my man. Thanks, PP fam, and go off Zen. Okay. From Not a Fed. When Zen looks up, he sees a face like Richard's looking down at him. Okay.
Except no.
From Probably Certain. Zen, watch out. I heard Lil D has a mean right hook. If you know, you know. Okay.
Bad optics, Richard. Bad optics.
From Deaf German. I think that's your brother. Richard just had a quick question. How does it feel to get BTFO'd live on air? Okay. Are those all the super chats? I think. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah, I think maybe this was just the wrong matchup. I think
no, I think it was the perfect matchup.
As bad as you think that pro-life absolutist is having, you guys are going to talk past each other because you're talking about two different things, and like I think that.
Am I cutting out or are you? You still here, Todd?
That was her. Yeah, she's cutting out.
Yeah,
you
that
back?
was me.
You back?
All right, I'm back. Okay, wait. Here's another super chat from CG. Far right are anti-racists who believe in human rights. Who knew they were just neocons?
Let me just address it. It's not like racist and racism is literally the most watered down term in America right now, especially. And it's not about being anti-racist or even being racist. We just don't even acknowledge that fucking term anymore. We don't acknowledge that ideology. And I know that's why Richard calls the former days of the alt-right the glory days, because they were actual racists and actual neo-Nazis, actual eugenicists that literally wanted to purge black people and purge Jews and purge non-whites from the population. They literally wanted to do that. And now that we don't actually want to do this anymore, we just want to fix the culture and establish a true social cohesion in America, which would entail not being okay with killing innocent human beings. That's why we're pro-life. He doesn't like that. And we're not neocons. This is not neocons. You can't slip a piece of paper between neocon and neolib. You're basically just liberals anyway, socially at least. So.
Okay. Let's see what else we had here. From We Need Critical Thinking. What if the totalitarians demanding people to have babies who don't want to were required to pay for the life from the hospital to 18 years old?
Oh wait, what?
You want me to read it again?
Was that a question for me?
It could be, I think. Let's see. Let me just make it bigger because this is really small.
Are you able to show it on screen?
No, they're too far back.
Okay.
I had to write back. All right. So from We Need Critical Thinking. What if the totalitarians demanding people to have babies who don't want to were required to pay for the life from the hospital to 18 years old?
Pay for the life. I'm not even sure what the hell.
I'm guessing like fund, like, a child costs a lot of money, so they're
probably. Yeah. I think everybody. Well, I think most people that are rational agree with improving social programs like adoption clinics and foster care and whatever. And I think the demographic that adopts the most children is the pro-life community. Like pro-life people actually practice what they preach and go out and adopt kids that need it. The waiting list for adoption is like 2 years, I think, for newborns. I think everybody would be in support of that if it's feasible. I mean, there's certain things that are just not simply not feasible that we can't do. But in any case, that doesn't mean go and kill innocent human beings. That's what an abortion is. So.
From CG, Zen Shapiro, that's why you have Zionists in America first. Genocidal lobbyists support your coercive nation. Some human rights, bud. Eat shit. Ooh. Ooh.
Keep coping and paying them more, please.
Steve.
You literally had to pay. You literally had to pay to say that, bro. Was that an own, or did you just give them money for platforming me that you hate? Sorry, bro.
Let's see here. What else do we get? From Fat Slab, BTD. For as many as have sinned without law shall also perish without law. And as many as have sinned in the law shall be judged by the law. I hate reading this type of stuff.
Amen.
Why do they talk like that?
I don't like the King James Version either because it's not like modern English, but yeah.
And just to chat, so we are back on Twitch. I didn't stream this one to Twitch because I just knew the lefties would go nutty and report me and stuff. So, but we are back on Twitch. We will probably be streaming our less controversial stuff on Twitch. I'm going to be extra careful because if we get actually permanently banned from Twitch, then we won't be able to have those people on. So I'm going to be cautious on our Twitch streams. And have a little more of the controversial stuff on YouTube. And we drop the Discord again, Todd?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, we're gonna drop the Discord in the link. So if you guys want to join, make sure you fill out all the questions so that our mods can let you in. We have to be extra careful with our Discord as well because that has been shut down a few times. So fill those out so they can let you in. We've got like 150 people just sitting in limbo because they haven't filled out the stupid questions. It's so annoying. Storm Pedal says, alt-right warrant neo-Nazis, stop using buzzwords.
Richard Spencer was. He was an open neo-Nazi. He was literally like the leader of the neo-Nazis. What are you talking about?
Let's see if I miss anything.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'll say it in my closing whenever we go off.
Okay. Yeah, we didn't even get to that. Well, we got Zen is literally a liberal. He believes in enlightenment abstractions like human rights.
Yeah. Liberal is in pro-life, anti-gay marriage, and a Christian. Yeah, super liberal.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess you can give your closing statement if you want.
Okay. I mean, you guys can hate it all you want, but that was actually pretty entertaining. I mean, he literally rage quit off the debate because he couldn't handle it. All I did was, what I said I would do in my opening. I said I was going to take his propositions that he set forth himself and force them to their extreme, which is what I did. And he didn't like that. He got frustrated every single time. He started trying to deflect and divert and call me names, say I'm stupid, whatever it may be. And he flew off the handle, started raging. And I think he kind of slipped a little bit there when he was saying that he wishes I had been aborted and that he was asserting himself as above me. Doesn't sound very reformed as from a former neo-Nazi, if you ask me, at least. But yeah, it is. If you guys didn't like that, you guys, say it was a bad matchup or Zen was being childish, Zen was being unfair. That's just not the case. I was simply challenging him on what he was saying and trying to get him to be consistent, and he wasn't, and he didn't like that. And that being said, being pro-choice is beta. Stop killing babies, guys.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. That was interesting. We are going to be off tomorrow. I'm not sure if we'll do a stage debate tomorrow. We might just not do anything unless Todd wants to do it. But Thursday night, we have a debate at, I believe, 9 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be with Kai Clips and Xander Hall on immigration. We have like a kind of an immigration week going on here. And then Sunday night, we have Destiny and Sean Last, who will be debating the Great Replacement, immigration and changing demographics. I'm being a little more cautious with the titles I put for our debates because the last title got us a 2-week ban on Twitch. So I'm just being a little extra cautious on some of these titles. And then we'll have our Saturday night pop-ons. So you guys make sure to DM me if you are interested in coming on that. Zen was too kind to help us host the last 2 debates because I have been out with some neck issues. But I appreciate that very much. Then thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, thanks, brother. You did really well.
Yeah, I did.
Thank you. And I just want to say too, like, as bad as that may have looked to people that have never seen me debate, and I know that some of my other debates have been fiery in the past too. I'm actually one of the most reasonable debaters. Like maybe I'm a little biased because it's myself, but I do try to be. I'll say I'm one of the. I try to be as good faith and fair as I can. But part of that entails that I ensure both sides are not talking past each other and that they're actually sticking to their own positions and remaining consistent logically, which is what a debate is. He kept saying. I'm not into this stupid internet debate shit. Look at what are you doing here? We're doing an internet debate. Like, so, but if somebody comes to me fair and people in the audience that are watching that have spoken to me in private and off camera and whatnot, like you guys know, like people that have formerly been pro-choice who I have converted to be pro-life, you know that I am fair when you are fair and reasonable. So, yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I guess that is all. So we will see you guys back here on Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Other than that, we are out.
Richard Spencer is a Fed.
Oh, stop.